welcome to another episode of Talk the Talk. Today I'm driving James Hawley's 1987 Pontiac Fiero GT. Now, I've known James for about 10 years now. We met when we were 15 and 16 years old through a mutual car friend. Here's actually a few pictures of us from our earlier days of car ownership, cruising together. This is one of me with my first DeLorean and James's Fiero. And here's another one with my first Supra and his Fiero. Believe it or not, even though I've known James since before he got this car, he's never actually chucked me the keys. So, a bit of a conversation I've got to have with him after. I don't know if he doesn't trust me, if it's the way that he's seen me drive my own cars. It's probably the way he's seen me drive my own cars, really. So the Pontiac Fiero first hit the market back in 1983, and the Mark I ran a 4-cylinder mid-mounted engine, very similar to the AW11 MR2, and if you actually look at it, it's a remarkable resemblance between the two. This was really America's answer to the affordable mid-engine sports car. So the Mark II Fiero, which is this shape here, looks a little bit tougher. Kind of looked like a mini Firebird, so a little baby brother to that. From 85 onwards, they had the V6 option, which this one actually comes with. And from factory, it was a 2.8 litre V6, but James has actually put a GM crate engine, a 3.4 litre. So that was using cars that were a little bit heavier, even minivans. So in this thing, the extra torque, it really pulls along and it's a nice little cruiser. So the factory 2.8 litre V6 pumped out around 135 horsepower. This engine here, with the extra 0.6 litre of displacement, it's only running about 20-25 more horsepower. The torque is really where it comes into play, which you really get it straight off the line in this thing. Packs a fair bit of punch, and peak torque is actually measured at 2750 RPM. So you get it down nice and low, and you can really enjoy it without revving the shit out of the car. We'll do a little bit of a launch here. James is behind me, so hopefully he forgives me. Oh. At this point in the video, I'm actually explaining that James told me he used lower octane fuel the previous tank. He thought that that may have been the issue causing the chugging, but after filming the video, he found out that it was happening still at peak operating temperature. He's since found a fuel leak and he's trying to solve the issue. Here's actually a few pictures of him trying to get that sorted out ASAP. Transmission wise, we've got 3-speed automatic transmission. I've been giving James shit about this probably for the past 6-7 years. Keep trying to convince him to convert to a manual. He quite likes the automatic though. He's going to be watching this video, want to punch me in the head because I've told him so many times to convert it. But it's all in good fun. He enjoys this as a cruiser. Used to be his daily, still drives it around a lot. So can't really blame him for just wanting to sit back, relax and enjoy the ride. Talking about the ride, let's get into it, give this thing a bit, see what it's like, and maybe he'll convert me to like the automat. No, not gonna happen. It's actually not too bad. It feels very mechanical. Obviously it is because it's a transmission from a few decades ago, but it does feel good when it actually kicks back. It's not too rough like some of the other ones where it's kind of hunting around to find the gear, then just jams into it and clunks and it goes nowhere. But yeah, not too bad overall. I did notice on a few of the corners that I took back there, this thing is so light in the front end. And a lot of rear mount engine cars and mid mount engine cars, you feel it. But this, sorry to say, is probably the worst that I've driven for the actual front to be floating around. This here just, oof, feels like it's gonna tip over. But as I said, this is a bit of a cruiser. It's not made as a track car, even though it's actually taken it to the track a fair few times, so he gets the most enjoyment out of it. One thing I do really like about this car is the actual seating position. Your ass is right on the ground and you really feel like you're on the road, straight there. You're not really looking over it. Feels very similar to a go-kart. If I was sitting in the center, wouldn't know the difference. Okay, approaching an S-bend. Let's see how this thing, whoa, oh shit. Whoa. A little bit of understeer. Kind of didn't want to go round the corner, kind of just wanted to go straight. So S-bends, don't try them too fast in this car. It's actually a really smooth ride. Besides the actual body roll, it's actually really nice. So we're doing around 50 miles an hour now, 80, and we're going around the bend. It's pretty good. James told me, actually warned me beforehand, keep on the throttle if you're going around the bend. Don't really catch off it straight away. Otherwise you'll get that nasty ass snap understeer. So it's making it more enjoyable, staying on the throttle. A little bit scary knowing that it might just whip around and smash into a tree, but that's all part of the fun, isn't it?
What got me into cars would have been probably back when I was very young. My dad had a Mitsubishi Cordia Turbo, and I've seen pictures of myself sitting in the driver's seat, just enjoying the look of the dash and the environment of being behind the wheel. After that, it would have probably been influences such as Back to the Future, watching the movie and seeing the DeLorean and that. Why the Fiero? Well, I was obviously influenced quite a lot by the DeLorean and Back to the Future, but they were very rare, and I already knew a few people who'd gotten ahead of me and bought their own before I had. So, and by that time I'd also been watching quite a lot of Knight Rider and seeing the Pontiac Trans Am in that. So I thought I'd go for something different, and while I was keen on getting a Trans Am at that point, the Vic Roads V8 laws changed a little bit, where they decided they weren't allowed, regardless of power to weight ratio. So I had to sort of look at alternatives, and I'd seen the Fiero listed. Favourite thing about the Fiero is probably how comfortable it is, especially on long trips. I took one to Queensland for the Pontiac Nationals last year, and I just found it was very easy to stretch out and enjoy the drive. So the mods I've done to the car is I have swapped a 3.4 V6 crate motor into it, and that reuses all the original top end bits from the 2.8 that it came with. It sounds pretty much the same, just has a little bit more horsepower. Future plans for the car will include most likely to open up the exhaust manifolds a fair bit more than they are now. They're quite restrictive from the factory, and so is the intake. So I'm considering welding a bit of a pipe into that to increase the size of the neck, and that should help a lot with the way it breathes at 4,000 RPM and above.
One thing I do love about this car is the styling. It just screams retro, from the outside to the inside, even the actual tuning panel that you have for the radio. It's all like an old amplifier. You can actually put it up and down depending on the megahertz or whatever it is. I'm not that great with audio, but just little things like that. The dash binnacle, you got a separate little binnacle for your gauges in the center as well. It's really, really cool, and it kind of gives a sense of nostalgia even if you weren't from that time. Well everybody, thanks for tuning in for another episode. Hope that you can join me next time as well. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe, check out some more awesome content. We've got some more frequent content coming out now as well. Have a few cars lined up. Here's some pictures. Not sure in what order I'm going to be doing them, but they're definitely coming up within the next few months. So if you like what you see, follow on, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.